How's it going, guys? Nappa here. Currently playing some Heat Evolution, trying to grind out the remaining challenges that I haven't done. I'm pretty close to getting all the achievements in this game, so I was like, okay, you know what, I might as well go for it and finish the achievements, 100% it. But I kind of want to give my pre-release thoughts to NASCAR Heat 2. Now, Heat 2 releases tonight at midnight or tomorrow if you want to be technical. I'll be getting it tomorrow on the PS4. The reason I'm getting it for the PS4 as opposed to the Xbox One is because I want to cover it here on YouTube. I want to make a series out of it, potentially a career mode, maybe a season mode, just Let's Plays in general of it, and everything I need to cover the game on YouTube is basically built into the PS4. If I want to make a Let's Play with the PS4, I can do that. The Xbox One's social media integration is heavily lacking in comparison to the PS4. I may get it on Xbox One later on because a lot of my friends are on Xbox One. We might be doing some racing. But to start out, I'll be getting it on PS4. Now, I guess I'll get into the positives first. The first positive is that it looks like the physics have been slightly improved in terms of how the game handles contact. Now, a lot of what I'm going off of, a lot of my knowledge of the game comes from footage of the gameplay from YouTubers like Real Radman and N2SC4R. They've been given early access by 704 Games, and they've been able to make lots of content about the game and show off a lot of what the game has to offer. So thanks to them, and thanks to excuse me, and thanks to 704 Games for giving them access to be able to kind of spread this information to the community. So yeah, the physics have been improved. In Heat Evolution, one thing you're going to see a lot is if you're side by side with somebody and you kind of bump into them just a little bit, you both go shooting off in opposite directions, and the physics engine just totally overreacts. Like, if you're going down through the tri-oval of Daytona, and somebody just gently kind of sideswipes your door, you will go spinning wildly into the infield, and that is a big problem. It's something a lot of people brought up in the feedback threads online and here on YouTube. And it seems like that's been slightly resolved. I've seen a lot of footage of like Real Radman and N2SC4R kind of bumping into people, and they stay kind of solid. They stay glued to the track. They don't go shooting off in opposite directions. The cars just look a lot more stable, a lot more planted. They said the steering's a lot less twitchy as well, so if you're going down the straightaway, you don't have to be worried about bumping your joystick a little bit. Because let's be honest, in Heat Evolution, most people, including myself, play with the joystick sensitivity turned all the way down, and even then it's very touchy. The default setting for the joystick sensitivity is just, it's absolutely ludicrous. That's the only way I can describe it. If you're going down the backstretch, don't even dare touching your joystick, because you will just annihilate yourself in the process. But they said the twitchiness is gone in the handling, even at the default joystick rate, so that is definitely good to hear. I have noticed a few times where cars bounce off one another kind of wildly, sort of like what they do in Heat Evolution, but it seems like the contact required to initiate such a reaction from the physics engine is much harder. So rather than just a gentle side swipe, which would cause you to wreck in this game, I only really see it happen in Heat 2 when it's heavy contact, when you really hit hard. So definitely improvement. It's not entirely fixed. It's not 100% ideal, but it is an improvement. And that's kind of what you're going to see a lot of with Heat 2, is just a lot of improvements. The next positive is definitely going to be the career mode. If you didn't know, they brought back Trucks and Xfinity. This is the first time we've had multiple series since EA dropped the license. So that's definitely going to be very exciting. And the career mode very much reminds me and many others of the NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup career. Even the way the menus are laid out kind of look like NASCAR 2005, so that's definitely kind of a throwback there. I believe it was done intentionally, let's be honest here. But yeah, you start in the trucks. You don't even get to race the first few races. Basically, you have to wait out each race until finally somebody comes up to you and they're like, hey, we need a stand-in driver for the 36 truck this week. You want to hop in the car? Maybe if you do well enough, we'll work with you in the future. So you run for them. If you do decent, they'll become an option to be a sponsor or a team that you can drive for in the next season. And from there, you progressively pick up sponsors, do races, win races, and move up the series as you get offers to run in the Xfinity, run in the Cup. and it's just going to be a way more in-depth career mode. We know you can make money in the career mode. We just don't know what that money can be spent on yet. I'm one of my theories, and this could be totally false because I haven't really heard anybody mention it other than a few people. But my theory is you may be able to start your own team if you have enough money in a given series, a la NASCAR 2005. Because in the car selection for the career mode at the very beginning, they did show a custom car. So that kind of hints to me that you'll be able to start your own team, but like I said, don't hold me accountable. I could be totally wrong. That's just my theory. The money you make could be spent on upgrade parts, could be spent on better equipment. Maybe you can even manage your crew. But speaking of custom cars are back. We have an EA-esque kind of paint booth. It's not like the Technics paint booth where you can kind of control everything, like every little decal and where it goes. It's more like the EA paint booths where you get pre-made designs that you can then fill in with whatever colors you want, whatever sponsors you want, your numbers, all that. All that good stuff. Now, I may be in the minority here, but I actually prefer EA's paint booth style because Technics and like Forza, where you have like these really in-depth paint booths, it's just too time consuming. I don't want to sit there for 4 hours making sure that everything is perfectly symmetrical on each side of the car and, designing these paint schemes. Like, it's really time consuming. I prefer the EA where I can just have a pre-made scheme, fill it in with the colors I want, the number I want, the sponsor I want, and call it a day. So I'm definitely glad that is back. The next thing I'm definitely looking forward to is the rivalry system. If you didn't know, the rival system from the EA titles like NASCAR 2005, 2004, 2006, that is back. So if you race somebody rough enough in the career mode, eventually they're going to get ticked off at you, and they are going to race you just as dirty, and they are going to take you out. Now, from what I have seen, the rival system is not in quick races or in season modes. It is only in career. So that's kind of a disappointment. It would be neat if it was in quick races and season modes particularly, but I'll take what we can get. At least it's in career mode. That is definitely a good thing. And finally, it seems as though the graphics have been improved. The car models in Heat Evolution look pretty decent, in my opinion. The car models look good. But the environment is very lackluster in Heat Evolution. Like, I'm playing it right now, and I'm looking at the grandstands, and I'm looking at I'm at Phoenix right now, so I'm looking at, like, the desert hills and everything, and it almost looks like a less pixelated early 2007 Xbox 360 game. It really does. But the graphics seem to have been improved. The lighting seems to have been improved. Everything about like the visuals just have gotten a nice upgrade. And I don't really care that much about graphics. But I know a lot of people do. So while graphics aren't really a selling point for me, like I couldn't care less about graphics. My favorite game of all time is Super Mario 64. So, graphics, all I care about is gameplay. But I know a lot of people do care about graphics. So if the graphics are better, if the game looks better, I know that will be able to drive a few more sales for 704 games. And the more sales they make, the more money and the bigger the budget they have for the next NASCAR game to make it even better. So that's definitely a good thing. Now I kind of want to get into some of my concerns. First of all, and there was a guy, I was just watching this video on YouTube, I think his name was Disco Inferno, something similar. If I was wrong, I'll correct myself in the description. I'll see what his name actually was. I think it was Disco Inferno. And he was talking about how the cautions don't look like they're any better. He was basically saying the cautions look like they still don't really come out for single car wrecks, and I agree with him. Watching some of the gameplay from Real Radman, especially because actually Real Radman uploaded a gameplay at Darlington, I think, where he pretty much got wrecked at the beginning of the race, and so instead of trying to salvage it or whatever, he just started to show off like the damage model and the crash physics and everything. He kind of took advantage of that moment, and it's like, okay, well, since we're done anyways, here's the crashing and the damage model and everything. And when he spun out on his own, no caution came out, and this happened several times where no caution came out. Real Radman himself has been quoted as saying that the cautions do work better for big wrecks. So when there's big wrecks, cautions do come out more frequently than in Heat Evolution. But no, single car spins still don't trigger cautions, and that is a bit of a problem because let's say you're doing a 100% length race and you're like in the top 5 or the top 10 and you're having a decent race, but you spin out on your own late in the race. Let's say you're an hour and a half into the race and you spin out on your own. Well, now no caution has come out. You're almost a lap down and there's nothing you can do about it. And that is a big problem in terms of gameplay. Hopefully, maybe the day 1 patch will resolve this. But it's not a game-breaking deal for me, but it is kind of a concern. The other concern I have is qualifying. Because qualifying in Heat Evolution does not really work all that well. What tends to happen is the AI qualify way faster than they actually run in the race. So there's many instances where you'll qualify and you'll end up dead last, and the AI are just running circles around you in qualifying. But then it comes to the actual race, and you pass 20 cars in the opening laps of the race. So there is a big discrepancy between race pace and qualifying pace. And I know cars qualify faster than they race. That's just how it works. When you're qualifying and you don't have to be out as long, especially if you're just doing single car qualifying where you're making 2 laps, you can put a lot of tape on the grill because you don't have to worry about overheating, and that's going to increase your speed, which is going to result in a faster lap. But the differences in this game are much bigger than that. The difference in lap times can sometimes be whole seconds. And I don't care how much tape you put on the front of your car, you're not going to be 2 seconds faster at Phoenix just because you have a little bit more tape on your car. And I haven't really seen much footage of the qualifying for Heat 2, but it still seems to have the same problem from what I have seen. It seems like the AI still qualify way faster than they run. And that is kind of annoying because it kind of makes qualifying pointless at most tracks. And the tracks where the qualifying makes sense, where you can qualify in a decent position, is usually the tracks where the AI are really easy to beat, so you almost want to start last anyways. So qualifying is a problem, and it doesn't seem to have been fixed with Heat 2, but once again, day 1 patch could resolve this. I could be, everything I say could be totally wrong tomorrow. Trying to think of any other negatives here. Really, the cautions and the qualifying were my 2 big concerns. I will say I hope they improve custom setups and the way they work, because in Heat Evolution, there are some just flat-out broken custom setups. I have a setup, for example, for Daytona and Talladega, where on my own, with no drafting, my car is capable of 210 mile an hour speeds. Meaning, the setup is literally unbeatable, no matter what difficulty you have the AI set at. I have a setup for Atlanta, where I do not have to lift off the throttle. You can literally hold it wide open, and you're not even riding the wall. You can pin it to the bottom and hold it wide open. I mean, it is, some of the setups are just flat out broken. They way overpowered, very unrealistic, and a lot of the gameplay, actually I think all of the gameplay I've seen from Real Radman and 2SC4 has been with the stock setups. I haven't really seen any footage from them that has delved into the garage and being able to make custom setups, so I have no idea if Heat 2 retains this problem. But, considering I have not heard anybody mention this issue at all in any of the feedback threads or the comment sections on YouTube, or even in any of the videos, I just don't think it was of much concern to too many people or even to the developers. So I'm wondering if it just kind of slipped under the radar and it's going to be an issue in Heat 2. And I understand, you might say, oh, well, just don't use custom setups and all this. But, I don't know. It's just kind of weird that you can do it in the first place. I feel like you shouldn't even be able to have setups like that at all. But those are my concerns. I'm definitely looking forward to the game. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it's going to be an improvement over Heat Evolution. And I'm going to be honest. For all its problems, I still like Heat Evolution. It's a fun game to play. the AI are relatively responsive. They kind of know where you're at, and they're fun to race against. So the fact that this game is going to be an improvement over Heat Evolution, I know already that I'm going to have a good time with it, but some people are far more critical than I am. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow with NASCAR Heat 2.